Okay, I think we can get started. We'll see if others will join us during the session. So, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining us here for this third session of our Copilot webinar series. So, the session of today focuses on Copilot Studio and agents. More specifically, we'll look at how you, as a user, can actually create an agent, customize it, deploy it for your own tasks and daily processes. So we know that today there's a lot of hype around the agents, and in previous webinars, if you attended them, we've already seen a number of agents in action, but these were often relatively simple agents, pre-built agents from Microsoft, like in Copilot Chat. And today we are really going to dive deeper into how you can use Studio to build agents with natural language and logic blocks that can generally automate your internal workflows and processes and make them run more efficiently. And all this, of course, without any development skills. So as you've noticed, the name of the webinar is Become an Agent Boss, right? But what does that mean exactly? Well, simply put, just as organizations today consist of several managers with teams of people reporting to them and carrying out certain tasks, right? The idea behind the agents is actually the same, namely having different agents who can assist with specific tasks and processes within the company and who are managed by a person or a group of people in the company who would be then the agent boss. So today the idea is to help you become such an agent boss yourself with different type of agents that you can develop and manage yourself to help you drive more efficiency in your daily work and processes. But before we dive deeper in today's topic, let's briefly outline who is Arrow and what do we do. So we are a global technology provider of services, products, and solutions with one clear mission, which is to make technology as accessible and easy to use as possible, and also for as many people as possible. And we do this by working in partnership with major technology providers such as Microsoft, as well as your own IT partner. And the idea is to use that technology as a driver for innovation within your organization in order to help solve your business challenges and help with the adoption of new technologies. So how do we do that? Well, basically by organizing sessions like this one today to inspire about what's possible with the technology that is already available to you, such as Copilot, such as the agents and all the solutions of Microsoft 365. So the program for today is quite straightforward. After this short introduction, it's time now to see Copilot Studio and agents in action with some practical use cases that I hope will inspire you to get started yourself, develop your own tools and agents for your personal workflows and processes. And at the end of the session, I will share with you a few practical tips to just help you get started on your own, basically. Now, fortunately, I don't have to do this all by myself today, since I'm here with our favorite Copilot experts, and we're working together with Vincent to inspire organizations and users, like all of you here today, to see what's actually possible with Microsoft Copilot. So if you have any questions, please send them in the chat, and we will answer them one by one. So, Vincent, the floor is yours.
Amazing. All right. Romeo, if you can just...
I will, yes.
Normally you can... like, how is it called again? I don't even know the word you need to... Yeah, you know it, right? What you need to do. Normally you can click like next to me and put it as a highlight or something. If you click on the 3 dots next to my name.
The spotlight for everyone?
Yeah, spotlight, yeah. That's the name. That's the word I was looking for. Yes. All right. So now, big screen normally. Good. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome also from my part to join. Maybe before, because the idea of the session will be, I got 10-ish minutes for, I'm gonna draw some stuff on my iPad and explaining why and how agents, like a little framework that I'm also using, what's important to know before starting with agents. Do you even need an agent? Stuff like that. And then we'll jump into agent building. So I have a couple of them prepared, and we're gonna run through it. Maybe to start, to get everybody's attention, by the way, you can launch your camera as well. Maybe that's nice to have some interactivity. Romeo, I see two people that still need to have the access. So if you want to put your camera on, I mean that I'm not here all by myself with Romeo, you can always put it on. Exactly. Hello. All right, maybe then start with the first question to get all the attention in here and not at emails or whatever. Did you already build agents in Copilot Studio? You can unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat if you want. One, nice. You have a bit of more information about that one? Was it Agent Builder or was it the Copilot Studio?
I have no idea. I built my own agent.
In your Copilot interface, in the Copilot chat interface?
There in the list where it says agents, researcher, analyst, etc.
Yeah.
I clicked on new agent and I built one.
Yeah. That's an agent builder. That's indeed the light version. That's good. Okay. What does it do?
It helps me writing minutes very specifically
Nice.
from board meetings.
Yeah, good. All right, that's amazing. That's already a good start. So can I assume that everybody that is here has a Copilot license? Yes. Yeah, Brigitte, you have one. No, yeah, do you have one or not?
I do have one, yes.
Excuse me?
I do have one license, yes.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. All right. So let's dive in then. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is agent, obviously, but I'm just going to give a little bit of an introduction around it, and a small example of myself. So a year ago, when I started my business, I wanted to automate everything. Right? I thought, oh, it's easy to build. Let's just do it. So I was just automating my cold email outreach. I had like subscriptions to multiple different tools, trials that were going into subscriptions. So I was paying like too much money on just all different type of AI tools and Make, N8N, Copilot, whatever. So I had too much. Why? Because I was focused on the outcome. My outcome was I wanted to automate marketing. But that's an outcome. That's not, or I want to automate my cold email outreach. That's not really how do I get there, right? Because today we see that as well, right? Everybody is selling agents. You see them in every slide deck. Everyone is talking about them. If you scroll on LinkedIn, if you haven't read like agent in 1 minute, probably something is wrong or you don't have internet connection anymore. So it's like everybody is talking about it, right? Because what I see, if you don't think about why, right? Why am I building this agent? Do you even understand your process, right? What are the steps? If you don't understand that, and if I link it back to my own situation, like I'm a small business, right? So that's okay. But if you look at it from a bigger point, like bigger companies, you're really scaling chaos at a super high level, which will, of course, in the end, will consume your time instead of winning you time, right? So that's what we are going to. Yes. So that's what we are going to discuss today, which is obviously agents. Click on go into the white. Agents. And actually to know when you need to build agents, because agents is not necessarily the same as automations, or automations is not necessarily the same as agents, because depending on what your need is, and that's why it's super important to understand your process and where you want to go to. It can also be just an automation, a simple Power Automate with a couple of steps instead of building that agent, because agents need to be governed, right? They can cost you a lot of money if you don't look at it. They need to be safe. So there is a lot more to think about when launching agents compared to we just need to automate something, right? So that's something that you or that we will talk about today as well, right? Now, first of all, let's go to the first step, right? What is an agent? An agent uses or leverages, right, AI to automate and execute. That again depends on the agent that you're building. Execute business processes, right? So it focuses on the processes, but it can also help you individually. So just increase individual productivity. And when you build that agent, it can support, like I just said, individuals. So like the agent that Birgit that you built, that's just for you, right? That's on an individual point of view that you want to save time while reading meeting summaries, right? So that's on individual level. But then you also have it on on team level, right? You have an HR team, so you build an agent that can or automate the process on team level, right? But then also you can have it obviously on company level, right? So you build an agent that supports you in the backend. It helps you with updating ERP systems or updating whatever you want to do. So there are also different levels. And obviously you can build agents that are, if you look at it on a little scale, that are super basic, right? But you can also build agents, and then you look more into, if you look to build an agent on a company level that are more complex, okay? That's basically with everything that we're building. Now, a basic agent, what is that? That's we call it as well a retrieval agent, meaning that's probably the one that we use or know the best. You ask a question, it will get the information, gives you a reply. That's it. It's like, you can look at it as a chatbot, but with a bit more context, a little bit more skills than just purely chatbot. Then in the middle, we can look it's like not basic, but it's also not complex. It's when the agent can do tasks, meaning it can send an email. It can update a OneDrive file. It can eliminate a column or a row in a SharePoint list. It can create files on a SharePoint team from the sales team, for example. That's a task, right? But then you also have the complex one, and those are the autonomous ones. So they just take care of things by themselves. If A happens, then I do this. But if A and B happens, then I need to do this. If B happens, I need to do this. So you understand, it depends on what the user is asking or what is happening, that it will take action. An easy example is from it, you get an email, right? The agent reads the email automatically, and depending on what is in the email, it will talk to agents, it will do something, and then it can, for example, send a reply back. We will build an agent like that. So that's an autonomous one, runs in the backend. The only thing that you cannot do is just build it and leave it. No, you need to govern it. You need to look at it. You need to analyze what's going well, what's going wrong, because otherwise, your agent will not work as it should. Okay. And if you look at a little bit like a little thing that I'm going to draw is an agent, you have the UX, right? The user interface, mostly since we're talking here in a Copilot environment, is your Copilot application, right? You look at it, you can prompt with it, Birgit, it's the same with you, the one that you built, you just go into your user interface, right? But you can also give your agent some knowledge, right? That's one building block of an agent. Knowledge meaning you need to ground it in something, okay? Is it grounded in a SharePoint site? Is it grounded in some PDFs, policies that you have? Is it grounded to your ERP system, CRM system? So those are all knowledge bases that you could add to an agent, right? Look at it as the memory of the agent, okay? Then you have a second building block is skills. What are skills? Skills are type of actions, right? Like I said, sending an email, updating a record, doing whatever an agent can do. It's really big, right? Or it has triggers, right? It triggers once an email pops into a shared email box. It triggers when we add a new file into OneDrive. Okay, when, for example, an invoice is coming in, it gets triggered. It does something with it. That's a trigger, right? Then you can also build workflows. And workflows are it's a skill for an agent, but a workflow basically is a process that is automated that is always the same. So if A happens, we need to get to B, and all the steps in between. You can give that as well to an agent. Okay. And then the third building block is the autonomously, or the autonomous one. Like it can plan, it can learn. Also, again, depending on your agent, right? And then if you look at what we are building, then is an orchestrator in the end, right? So depending on what happens, it will take action. It will use skills, use the knowledge, use the autonomous part, yes or no. That all works on what you're doing, right? Or what you building on your process. And then you have here the different models. So you can base your agents on different models, right? Today, as you know, Microsoft has an agreement with OpenAI. So all the system or all the models in the backend are GPTs. You have GPT 5.2, 5.3, 5.4. Those are available. You probably have seen as well that Copilot or that Microsoft has an agreement with Anthropic. Anthropic is a builder of Claude. So you can now also select Claude models. But, big but there, your company needs to approve it, right? That's from a security perspective, because if you use ChatGPT or if you use Copilot with a GPT model, then your data stays within the Microsoft boundary. So it uses all the security, the governance, everything that has been built by Microsoft, but also by your IT team, applies to the data, okay? If you accept Anthropic in your environments, the data gets analyzed as well in Microsoft, but it can also lead to Anthropic servers as well. So some companies allow that, some don't, okay? Again, based on the use cases, you can allow it or not. Of course, because I'm the owner of my company, I allowed it. Also because I need to demo it, obviously. So I will showcase it in a demo as well. And then you could link your agent, right? If you have here your main big agent that you have built, you can build it or you can link it to other agents, child agents, right? So you can start orchestrating and building it up together, because giving too many instructions, giving too many tasks to one agent you need to look at it a little bit as a human. If you give it too many tasks, too many different tasks, it doesn't really know what to do when, or the chance of hallucinations and not doing what you want it to do increases. So that's why it's always good to framework it, to give it a little bit of a play field. And if you see that it differs too much, like a new task that you want to add, maybe it's an idea to build a second agent and just link it in that type of way. Okay. Is that clear for everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
If not, again, you can unmute yourself or just put it in the chat. Romeo is also looking at it, but I will look now and then at it as well. Okay. Numbers, we always need to give a little bit of numbers because you need to understand, right? So if you look at it from a hype perspective, where we are with agents is in the peak of inflated expectations. So if you look at it from I forgot the name. A graph perspective, that's the word. We are with agents, we are here. And with Gen AI, we are here. You probably recognize it, right? A year and a half ago, everybody thought you could do everything with Gen AI. The expectations were so big. And now we are right in the trough of disillusionment. So this is a graph from Gartner. So we are here now with Gen AI. With agents, we are here really at the top with the peak of inflated expectations, because everybody thinks agents can do everything, right? If you look on LinkedIn, people are saying that they're they're firing their 500K marketing team per year because of one little agent in Claude. Well, that's bullshit, because it's just not true, right? So we just need to calm down a little bit and think through of why we are building agents, why we are doing certain processes, because then you will probably not be one of the 40%, because 40%, Gartner is predicting then, 40% of agents will fail by 2027. Why? Because They're just building agents for the sake of building agents and not thinking through a certain process, a certain framework, right, to get good results. Because it's the same with prompting, right? If you don't know how to prompt properly, it's a skill, right? If you don't know how to prompt properly, most of the people will stop using AI because it doesn't give them the output that they were expecting from it, because they're expecting too much and they expect that the agent or AI is just thinking for them, right? Okay, so why do agents fail? Because that's a nice bridge to, we have the 40% predicted that is going to be failed. So why do they actually fail, right? What does fail look like? Hallucinations, I think we probably have all been there. A cool personal, well, cool, an annoying personal story there. So my wife is pregnant, and we got some blood tests coming back. And we thought, because I live in Portugal, right? My Portuguese is okay, but on medical perspective, I like to understand what's being said, right? So we pushed it into ChatGPT and we asked, is it a boy or a girl, right? ChatGPT was full confidence, said it's a girl. So we were like, oh, that's super nice, blah, blah, blah. It was just like one sentence prompt, right? And then I thought, well, maybe let's stress test it after 2-3 hours. So we had been talking to friends and family and everything. So I pushed it into Copilot and asked it a little bit better, like, can you really pinpoint me on the document where it states that it's a boy or a girl? And Copilot said that it's not on the on the paper, on the picture that I sent. So you see, it just like convinced, it was really convincing of like, yeah, it's a girl, right? Blah, blah, blah. So it hallucinated it. And in the end, it's still a girl because we went to a doctor and we asked it to know. So it's okay. It has a 50% chance, right? But hallucinations are, really the biggest part of why agents fail, and Gen AI in a sense as well, right? Inconsistent answers. That's also a big one. I think you probably recognize it. If you go into a sales OneDrive or SharePoint, you see version proposal 1, version 2.1, 1.2. So, right, it can get confused as well, right? Generic responses, again, that's also one that is really, if you get a generic response, you think, yeah, why am I actually asking it to AI? So those are reasons why it failed, right? Or examples of failure. Now, why do they fail? I have three main parts, right? No clear process. You don't even understand yourself what's happening. That's the main part, right? People open Copilot Studio or Agent Builder and they just start building like I did, right? I just started automating stuff and I thought, oh, maybe this is also part of the process. Let's just include it, right? So that's why it's super important. If you build agents, start with the process, not with the tool, because the tool is a thing that helps you save time in your process. But the most important part is the process, right? Second, reason is bad instructions. You really need to see as the instructions as the brain of your agent. So if you do contradictory instructions, if you give vague instructions, your agent will fail 100%. Okay. So it's like that you hire somebody and that you just never explain what the job is, but you expect them to do a lot, right? So it doesn't work like that. And thirdly, there are no KPIs. For an agent to be successful, it needs to save you time, right? That's all. That's the whole point of building agents. It needs to save you time. It will make you more efficient, more productive. So build those KPIs, okay? Build your baseline. If we do a process, for example, we're going to build one, an IT help desk support. Okay, how does that go today? First of all, what's the process, right? Second of all, what are the KPIs? How long is or how long is the time between receiving the email, getting the reply? Today, if we do it manually, right? And then we can measure if the agent is up and running, how much time we are saving. Because if you don't do that, you just don't know anything and just say, yeah, the agent is working, we got a couple of interactions. No, make it visible, right? Because then you can go to the board, then you can go to management and say, this agent saves me time. So those are 3 of the main reasons why agents fail. Is that something recognizable if you already like heard in the company, or does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Cool. Now, start with the process. That's the last one. And then, oh no, two more of these iPad scripts, and then we go. First, start with the process. So even before thinking of using Copilot or Cloud or whatever, right? Before you do it, think about your process. What is it? What are the steps? What are the exact steps, right? And find the process. That's something if you want to start building, find a measurable process, meaning something that really can save you time. Like Visit, the one that you take, that's a typical example that saves you time, right? Because how long does it take for you to summarize a meeting? Normally, what would you say?
I don't know, a long time. If it was like
20 minutes?
probably
30?
double the time of the meeting itself. Like board meetings here, they're last 6 hours. So probably I sit 2 days minimum, even using AI before. But now I just build it. So I cannot really judge it yet because I haven't had a meeting in the meantime. I did it for half a meeting and it looked good what I got. I must say it looked good. But I used the prompt agent to write a good prompt, which I would have never managed.
Don't worry, I do that as well. That's a smart thing to do, right? You just explain what you want, how you do the process today, and then it can give you already a prompt. That's perfect. So if you have that measurable process, like we'll take the example here of the meeting summary, right? You need to map every step, right? Map the steps of your process. We have the meeting, right? I take notes, so forth and so forth. We'll have examples in a minute, right? And then also if you have, okay, this is now a very generic one because it's for your own personal productivity, but if you look at a bit more complex agents, right? Talk with your colleagues, right? How they are experiencing a process, because the way I experience it is not the same as a colleague, because they maybe add 5 steps more, or if you look then at another operational team, they even add 10 steps more, right? So that's also important to talk with people, how they see it, how they see the outcome, right? Definitely, if you're then going to share the agent for the company, because if it's just for your personal one, then it's how you work, right? But if you share it to a company agent, then it's good to know that. The framework that I personally always use when I build my agent is the script framework. It's not something that I invented. I got it from Team Copilot. It's Dutch. It's a Dutch little company. And they built, or they are advertising the script framework. So it has 6 letters, right? The first one is strategic goal. What do you want your agent to do, basically, right? What is the purpose? Not a vague one of help the team be specific and tie it to a business process, right? Handle, because that's the example that we're going to use, right? Handle first line IT tickets, right? And resolve password resets. That's the example that we're going to do without a human intervention. Okay, that's a strategic goal, right? Secondly, context and knowledge, right? So that's the source part, right? You give it, like I said, the brain. What does the agent know, right? Who is it talking to? Does it talk to another agent? Is it going to the web? Is it going to SharePoint, OneDrive, Excel files, etc., right? Dataverse, if you're working with it, right? So the quality of giving the context and the knowledge really increases. If your quality is high, the answer obviously is much higher as well if you compare it to just something that you uploaded it without really thinking about it. Thirdly, your role and identity. What's the agent's name, right? What's its personality, the authority level, right? Is it a helpful assistant, or is it an expert in LinkedIn writing or email drafting? That's what you decide or write down in the role and identity part. Then the fourth one is instructions, right? That is probably one of the most important ones as well, that you need to give the reasoning logic, really the steps. So the steps that you first have defined when you were thinking of the process, and every manual step that you need to do. If you then decided which step AI should help, or the agent, that you need to define here in the instructions, right? When X happens, so when an email arrives, you need to do this, and this. Like literally, you need to tell it every step of the way because it cannot think like you. Okay. Fifth one, parameters. What are parameters? Those are your guardrails, right? It's highly advisable to give your agent, to give it just a playground, right? You give it a framework in the parameters, the guardrails, right? What should your agent not do, okay? What topics are off limits? Meaning, if you get a question about this, contact IT team, for example. That's something that should be mentioned and given into the parameters. Like, what happens if you don't have an answer? Then don't come up with something, right? Just tell them to contact a person. That's some of the guardrails that you can give. And then sixth one, the T, that is the tone of voice, right? The tone and format, sorry. So the tone of like you want to be friendly or to the point. Which format is it, like bullet points or summarized in an email? That's everything that you then give here in the last part, the tone and format, right? Which you will see in the agent or in the agents that we are going to build. I'm always using this framework. The instructions are much bigger, right? But it's good to have enough information. Again, make sure that it's not contradictory. But I always use, obviously, Copilot as well to build my script. What I do is I have this written down in just a PDF file. I downloaded it from teamcopilot.nl. I downloaded it from there. I just give it into Copilot. I say, this is my agent, what he wants to do, right? I only talk to my agent, to my Copilot anymore. So I give him a full description, and then he writes it, or it writes it following the script instructions or framework. And then obviously I reread it, I interact, I iterate if it's needed or not, and then I copy paste it into Copilot or in the agent. Is that clear? Because we're going to start building now. Yes, I know I went a bit faster, but don't worry, you will get the recording. You will get also, that's also an important, you will get everything afterwards, right? I will, or Michiel will share in the follow-up email as well the instructions and everything on a PDF file. All right.
So yeah, maybe I have one question.
Yes.
You said in the introduction that we need to monitor the works that the agent is doing.
Yep.
So even if we have a perfect agent, we still need to be behind what it does. We still need to monitor his work.
Yeah, because there are always things that you don't think about, right? Certain questions, because people are inventive, right? So they ask questions. People are also lazy, so they ask any type of questions. So you really need to, well, you don't need to look at it every hour, right? You can look at it every X amount of time, and you, because I'll show it as well, you can see it into Copilot Studio, you can see it interactions, so you see its reasoning, right? If you got a question, it this, and this. And that's why it's also highly advisable to, when you launch agents, to really build a feedback culture on it, right? If something is not as you like, if the response is not well, you should flag it. So you can flag it, right? And then IT get messages so they can see that in the backend what was going wrong, edit the instructions, right? That it doesn't happen again. And then you can again publish it. And that's how you constantly keep your agent up to date. But okay, we are then talking about an agent that supports you in processes, right? If you look more at productivity, then it's your agent, so you're talking with it, so you can edit the instructions how much that you like, right?
For example, an agent that responds automatically to our emails and others. It might be too late if the agent already sent the email and you notice that.
Yeah, sure. Sure, but if you have that, is it then necessary to have the agent, to let the agent send the emails? Maybe you can If it's so important, maybe you can, because I'll show that as well, maybe you can just let it draft an email.
Okay.
That you still, as a human, then need to double check and you send the email.
Okay.
That's also possible.
Mm-hmm.
That
Okay.
again depends on the use case, right? If you just have an IT support agent, which we will build now only for internal use, that's not that critical, I would say, if you compare it with an agent that sends sales information to your customers, right? That's a big difference. So there you really need to be sure that everything is working properly before you launch it effectively on production environment. So that's why it's also highly advisable, and I advise that to everybody. If you do those type of agents, test them up front, right? And test them intensively with any type of question you can think of. All right?
Okay.
Good. So let's dive in. I will, boom, go into my Copilot, right? So this is, everybody recognizes it, I imagine. The example that we're going to do now is a Microsoft 365 Copilot agent, an IT support helper, okay? So we will build up this demo from an agent that you can build with the free version. So we all know, right, there's a Copilot chat free version that is included in your Microsoft 365 business license, right? That's like included. So you can also build agents there. You have also, right, your Copilot license, and that's a step further because you can also build agents there, but with some extra additional features, which I will explain in a minute. And then you have Copilot Studio, right? You can have a separate license for that. Or if you have a Copilot license, you can also build in Copilot Studio. Again, with some guardrails. We all know Microsoft. If you then add some connectors and everything, you will need to pay for that. But the basic stuff and some advanced stuff within SharePoint and everything, you can do it with a Copilot license. Okay. So the first agent that we are going to build, like I said, is the IT support helper. So maybe I want to just think a bit with everybody here. So you can drop it. I was going to say drop it like it's hot, but we're not going to do that. You can just maybe put it in the chat. Think like 2 minutes about it, because the agent that we are going to build, the IT support tool, is the goal. What will it be? Is to save a bit of time of the IT team, because like general questions about how do I reset my password, the agents should be able to do that. So let's now maybe write down some steps that you think are happening in that process of an email that comes in, analyzing and everything like that. So just an IT support agent, drop them in the chat, and I'll write them on the iPad to see. So question, what are the steps? If you look at an IT support tool, what are the steps of a process? Or if you want to say them and throw a couple, that's also possible, of course. I'll already start in the meantime writing a couple of them. I will see them coming in because obviously it takes a while, right? The first step is the employee sees, right? Because we're going to take the example of a password reset. I think I said it, otherwise sorry for that, but okay. The employee is locked out, right? The second step, right, that we are thinking or that I had identified is the employee writes an email to IT. Right, it's coming through. Ticket entry, help desk redirected to the correct resolver group, proposed solution. Yes, indeed. Those are indeed, perfect steps indeed. Because if you look at it, Lean now took what? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Close ticket, 5 steps. That's an important one, closing the ticket. So 5 steps, right? Bridget as well. So again, you have a form. Issue can be classified. So that's 2 steps. You see, so everybody thinks it in a different type of way, right? I'm waiting for Luc because Luc is already typing for a while. So I guess Luc will have the most steps of the process. Right, let me, voilà. Present is saying, hello, I'm reading the requests, showing the reply that you understand the requests. Once acknowledged, we can create a ticket. Yeah, so it's also step of 1, 2, 3. Yeah, three steps. But this is already, look, the next step, right? This is already how you want the agent to interact, right? We are first in the process, in the description of the steps. So the third step can be IT receives, right? IT receives the email. So for this example, we're also going to make it a little bit easier because we're not going to build it in Copilot Studio. So we don't work yet with a support ticket system. Okay. So the IT gets the email. IT looks, right? Looks in the policies. Right. Fifth one is IT checks with the system. Checks employee need access to what it does need right access. The sixth one is step-by-step email. So that's the sixth, right? Seventh is send email. So that's all IT, right? IT sends email. 8, employee, right? Follows the step. 9, doesn't work, not work, email back. And we start then at 3 again, you see? And then 10, when it works, everybody happy. Right? So this is not, I know it's easy, but it's just to showcase you like how you really need to think about the steps, right? Now, the second part, if you have written down the process, the second part is start to see where AI can help. So let's mark it, right? What do you think in these steps? Just write the number in the chat. Which steps do you think that AI could help? Oh yeah, Lynn, that's a very good one. To a surface knowledge article, we could add that into step 6, right? Or we can make it an extra step, or we can add it indeed, because that's a good one to mention. So indeed, in step 5, that is a good one. That there an agent could check. And if I think, right, this one, IT receives an email, right? An agent can check that if an email comes in, right? 6 and 7, I see that as well. AI can do, right, the step-by-step email, and it can send the email as well, right? I also had 4 because an AI can look up for policies, right? Then I also had step 9. If there are other questions then coming in, it can go again to step 3. Okay. And then if you identify, right, the rest where AI should not help, right, is, in this part of the exercise, AI shouldn't help if an employee is locked out or not, right? That's just a human that knows it, right? Step 8, because the employee actually needs to do it, right, themselves, right? And then we could maybe, that depends again on how your internal processes work, or it's a human that should close a ticket, or it's an agent as well. But let's think now for this example, we'll just take that the human should do it, and also step 2, because the employee should write the email. Okay. So once we have that, we can start building the script, screen share. And we can then imagine we built the script. I'm not going to do that because that takes a bit too long, but I have written already the script. So let's go into building a new agent. So again, this is with the free version. Okay. this is with the free version. It's an IT support helper, so that's the name. We can also do it in Copilot Studio, but I will explain the difference. It assists employees with common IT questions. That's the description, right? And then I have a whole bunch of instructions following the script methodology that we can use here. Okay, if we run through it, you have your strategic goal, right? Your context and knowledge, role and identity, instruction and orchestration. So these are the steps that we identified here in green, right? We list them up again in the instructions. Okay, read the user's question, search the connected Microsoft documentation, answers, add steps if needed, flag escalations, right? And if you don't know the answer, send direct to IT support. That's possible. Parameters, right? That's the framework that we built for them. No guessing, no security risks, sources only, right? Give it a scope and then tone of voice, right? Since this is an agent for the free, where is it? For the free version, I will just link it, or I can only link it to external sources. Because if you build an agent with only external sources, everybody in the company can make use of it for free, right? With Copilot Chat, the free version, okay? And now you see that I use these two websites. I'm gonna click here on the toggle to only use the specified sources that I have specified here. I don't want it to build documents and images for now. And now I have built my first agent. Just need to click on create. And if you create, you go to your agent, and this is your first, right, IT support helper. And then I'm just gonna type it here, right? How do I reset my password? We didn't fully build the agent out in email mode, that it gets an email, goes through it, sends an email back. So this is a bit the lighter version where the employee can chat to it, right? So basically it's the same. Instead of receiving an email, it receives a chat, okay? So here I said, how do I reset my password? So now we will see the IT support helper will go to Microsoft documentation. I asked it, right, to summarize it, send it in a document, in a nice message that it will come back here. So now it will access the detailed documents, which you can see here, right? It will look for the Microsoft Docs that I will guide, avoid guessing work, etc. So now it's building up. So it goes to that, right? Support.com, which I gave in the knowledge base. It's avoiding assumptions, which I explicitly asked, right? So that's good. So then it will come back with an answer. Is that clear for everybody? Like the reasoning behind it and how we build up everything? Well, okay, now that you see, of course, because here it says this is your work or school Microsoft account, because we're using the free version here and not more complex, we could identify the user first, right? Maybe we should put that now in the instructions of we are always working on a Microsoft work account, right? So here it will then give you the steps and the source or the link to the source that you also can click on it. If you still know your current password and want to change it, use this. If you never got a password from your organization, etc. So it gave you exactly what we were asking, right? How do I reset my password? That's also a very easy prompt, right? Because we did say we are locked out of our laptop. How do I need to re-access my password? Something like that. So now this is the first agent that we've built. Is that clear for everybody? Yes. All right. Now we're going to go build the second one, the partner deal. Yeah, you see it already here because I built it in any case if something would happen. I'm not going to go through all the steps anymore that we just did because this will take a bit too much of the time. But I'll just explain it. So the current process, this agent that we're going to build is going to support sales in internal materials, so internal knowledge base. meaning it's going to look up pricing, other project that we already did that were the same in the same industry, etc. Right? So we have, again, I got like 10 steps, right? Sales reps get a meeting scheduled. The sales rep tries to remember where all the materials are, go to specific sources, summarizes it, and everything else. Okay, but we're going to give it a name, partner deal room assistant. Partner deal room, we're just going to call it, right? And the description is you're an internal support assistant, right? That helps you with partner sales, quickly find it, etc. Okay. Then again, build it according to the script framework. I'm going to paste it here. So as you see, contact strategic goal, context and knowledge again, role and identity, which are right, a couple of steps, parameters, tone of voice. That's what it all needs to do. But then I'm going to link it to an internal SharePoint site, and I'm going to quickly show you the site. So this is the site. It's a document library, right, with pricing details, product data sheet. We have some case studies that we have done in the past, competitive battle cards that are there, partner program overview that we support. And then you also see a lot of like colors here on the right side, right? What are those? Those are metadata. Metadata is extra data that you give to your files, which is read by or easily read by agents and the like, right? And AI in general. Why? Because this will save much more time because the agent doesn't need to go through every single document, right? So if I now ask, for example, give me all documents that are, give me my pricing documents, it will immediately read document type, pricing one, and it will give me this one, instead of going through all of them and identifying which one is a pricing document, okay? So that's really the importance of metadata, is so AI can read it faster, and you will also most likely decrease the chance of hallucination. Okay, definitely if you put it here on confidentiality internal ones, it will also look at only the internal files if you ask it specifically. So this is the document library I will link my agent to. Again, I go to the knowledge base, I add this one, and as you see, it will pop up here, the sales knowledge, right? That was the name of the agent. I only say you specified sources. I don't want it to go on the internet, so I'll leave this toggle off. I don't need, do I need this? No, I don't need this as well. So we'll leave it. It can, let's say it can create a document, right? If you ask it to create it in a Word file or in a PowerPoint, now this agent is able to do it. If you want the agent to create images, you will need to toggle this one off, but for this one, I won't need it. Then you click on your agent and you're set to go. Now, again, since this agent, we are referencing to an internal file, right? Or internal files, meaning the SharePoint library, we need to have a license to use it, right? That's the first possibility. The second possibility is that your company has a pool of tokens, right? That can be used then if people don't have a license and they ask question to an agent that use internal knowledge, then they need to take tokens from the internal pool that your company has bought. Is that clear? Look at the questions. Let me, if I understand, we have the opportunity to leverage scripting library in order to personalize an agent, right? Do you mean that you are able with, what do you mean scripting library, Samir? I see you unmuted yourself, but we can't hear you. Well, you have. Well, I'll just think. I guess what you mean is based on your instructions that you give it, you can highly personalize an agent. Yes, right. So that's the use case of really building up with using script and that methodology, right, or that framework. You can really personalize the agents as well. Okay, I see you typing, so I'll leave you typing, and I will already use my prompt, right. So I have a meeting tomorrow with a manufacturing company that has 50 licenses, right. I'm a salesperson at the company. They're a bit skeptic, right? And they don't want to go all in, but they want to do it gradually, right? So that has been the context. I would like to prepare for the meeting. So look for case studies that we have internally, right? Look for the pricing document and like what I should propose and come up with a structured plan for the customer. Right, so now, as you see, it goes through the files, right? You recognize it, case study manufacturing. So because I mentioned here, manufacturing company, it looks in the library for manufacturing use cases. Yes, Brigitte, while it's working?
Yeah, just a question, because
yes,
what's the difference compared to if you ask these tasks to the normal chat? Like, because I don't know, my thinking was like an agent helps with like these repetitive tasks. Like I trained my agent, like to come back to this example of the minutes, like I put in past minutes, past agendas, past transcripts, etc. And I told it, please, every time I upload now new transcripts and new agendas for future board meetings, I want you to write the minutes the same style as they were written in the past.
Yeah.
So I will use it for this. Here, this looks like a search tool kind of
Yep.
thing, the way you build
Yep.
it. So what's the difference as to compare to using
the
normal
difference is
chat function, I guess?
you target, you give it already instructions up front, so you don't need to give the instructions constantly again. You give it
Okay,
already how
so
you want to
you
reply and everything,
okay.
right? So you give it
Okay.
that. And the second part is you direct it to a library with files that
Okay.
are needed for this agent, because otherwise, indeed, good, fair question, you can just ask it to Copilot, but then it will go through all your files, through everything where it finds manufacturing, it will go get it back and give it to you. So probably your answer, there will be certain parts that you are exactly looking for, but there will also be parts that you are totally not looking for.
Okay.
So it will pollute your answer a bit. So with agents, you can really pinpoint them into the
More
right direction.
focused. Okay.
Yeah, very focused. Yeah.
Okay.
But indeed, that's correct. That's specifically for this agent, right? So this is still
Yeah.
a retrieval agent. Ask
Okay.
and get
Okay.
and get the reply.
I got it.
Right?
Okay.
So it's still collecting the information. It's a bit slow today. I don't know what's happening. That was not the case on Wednesday, so probably my internet connection is not 100%. All right, while this one is running, if you have an extra question, you can always ask them. Otherwise, I will give an introduction already to the third agent that we are going to build, and that one we are going to build in Copilot Studio. Is there any extra thing that you want to know related to that? Is the licensing clear? Because in the webinar that we did on Wednesday, that was a bit of a struggle to comprehend. Otherwise, just let me know. Good. You're already in Copilot. This one is still, I really don't know what the issue is. It takes a while, but we'll just leave him running and then we will come back to it. So this is Copilot Studio, right? If you have a Copilot license, you can access this. You can already start building your agents, having to run tasks and everything else, okay? Of course, depending on your IT or your own internal regulations, it could be that your IT team has set up or had set up the rule that if you publish an agent, that they need to approve it, right? I see that happening in most of the companies that are a bit bigger, because they ask them the business case, why you're building this agent, because like I said, agents need to be governed, right? Most of the time, they're linked to a person. If that person leaves the company, what happens? So those are like the regulations that you should think about if you are really developing agent into, or if you really see that people are just developing agents like crazy. Okay. Again, you can start describe your agent, or you can just start from scratch. That button disappeared. It's now here. Just click on create the agent. Okay. And here you see an overview. I got a couple of them, but let's dive in. The next part, what we are going to do is an HR policy navigator. I think we all know, if you have a question, or that's personally me, if I have a question related to anything that is myself or my pay, I just send an email to HR. And probably there are more and more people like that as well. And so we are overloading HR with simple questions that probably if I have a look into the policies that I will just find myself. But on those type of things, I'm pretty lazy. So I just shoot the question and I hope I get the reply back that I'm looking for. So how can we do that? Because the process is, right, I'm not going to do it again, but I'm going to quickly explain it. An employee has an issue. He sends or she sends the issue to the HR email address. Again, email, the HR looks it up, drafts an email, sends it back. Okay. Here we are really going to work from the email perspective. Again, if you give it, right, the HR policy one, okay, description, you help employees finding information about the policies from your knowledge base. Right? Good, that's written down. Then the second part that you can do is you can select models. Again, as I said, depending on the policy of your company, right, you could either have the GPT models, right, that are here, or you could have the Anthropic models. For this case, personally, because we're going to be sending emails, I prefer to use Claude because I think their drafting of emails, their look and feel, I think that's better. But that's just my opinion. Again, depends on your preferences, right? And then I will copy paste again the script that I built for the instructions. So your strategic goal is this one. Context, knowledge, instructions, parameters. We're going to give it SharePoint sites, and we're going to save it. Right, context, right, it's the script methodology. Okay. And then we are going to link it to my policies page. Right. I don't have the correct link. Policies. Boom. So you see, these are all my policies. Again, I directed to this one. This is a little bit, again, the same because you look at policies and going to reply and answer, but we're going to work one step further where we can give it tools and actions and everything like this. So this is basically the same, right? You can add a SharePoint link. You can add multiple links if you have. Why is this not working? I'm going to link it then. Policies. Yes, there it is. All right. Why is this happening? Leave. I'm going to do it again. SharePoint. There was a problem creating your knowledge source. What's the issue here? Let's try this. I don't have it locally. Yeah, that's a bit of an issue. Let's see what it says. Add to agent again. Not possible. Okay, that's an issue. Let me quickly go back to my HR. That's the one that I've built. So we'll just kick it off again, right? Now you see the knowledge is in, okay? So I don't know what happened there, but never mind. It's working. Good. So the second one, or then we added a tool, right? Because we want the HR navigator, we wanted to send an email. How do you do that? You add a tool. And if you already have worked with Power Automate, you will recognize this because it basically in the backend, it's Power Automate, right? So you can add Outlook connector, you can send emails, create events, add contacts, draft emails, etc. Right? So you can even let it send Microsoft Teams messages. You can create channels, add channels, delete people from channels. So those are all possibilities that you could do, right? For this one, we're going to just send an email. This one, add and configure, right? It's now linked to my, right? We're just going to leave it the same, give it a name. The two dynamically filled with AI. Why? Because it's an agent, so we don't know upfront who it's going to be. So AI is going to read it with subject and body the same. Okay. So let's now go to this one again. I'm going to delete it because otherwise I have it twice. And then the second part that you see here are triggers, right? Triggers is the one, if you want to run your agent autonomously, then you can start with triggers. But for now, let's try, right, the agent. We're going to just ask a question. The question is, can I from home? Now, because this agent is already fully built where I wanted to go, right, I added here a part as well in the instructions to ask, right, and every response, do you like to receive a summary of, right, what I have given you? And then I say here, yes, use send an email. So I explicitly say, right, very clear instruction, use send an email tool to send that email very clearly. So I just ask now, can I work from home every day? And that's a big, advantage if you work in Copilot Studio. That's also present on the question that you had. Here you can really see which actions it's taking based on your question that you have asked. Right, you see it here, policies. It goes to all my policies that I have here to really identify where it's written down. So you see, it goes through it. It goes through some other, right? It has found remote work policy. It goes through those metadata. So that's now complete. And now because we are in test, right? We didn't publish it yet. It will ask me if it can send an email. If this agent is published, obviously it doesn't ask it and it just sends you an email because it knows who you are, right? Because you're doing it with your Microsoft license. So again, search it again. And now it's building it. Right, you see something happens here. Let's do a new test session.
It doesn't want to work anymore on Friday afternoon.
Today it's Friday afternoon. It says, nope, not today. Because you were there on Wednesday as well, Romeo, so then it was working, yes. Right?
Yes.
You can
this
confirm.
I can confirm.
Yeah. Anyways, otherwise I will show what it has done in the activity because this is the agent that we've built then. So again, it will go through the ones. Right, search the knowledges. Okay, now it's doing that. Okay. Because why I think it takes a long time now is because I didn't mention my metadata specifically in my instructions. So I think as a next step, what I could do is update my instructions because I see now it takes a long time, right? To really mention those metadata, which ones to use first to identify more quickly which policy it needs to do. Voilà. So now it gives me an example, as you can see. Can I work? Asked. This is already the email, so there is yeah, a lot going wrong today, which is really, really weird. Well, so this is, okay, not what I want. So this is from Wednesday. So let me show here what happened. So here, right, welke policies moeten, yeah, it's in Dutch now. So it went through, okay, it went through the knowledge sources. It gives me an answer and it sends me an email directly. Now, since this agent was not really working as we has expected, I will show you one that is working because it's running every day autonomously. Again, this is my agent that I've built that works really well for me personally, because what I do, yeah, because Copilot, obviously it's my business, right? I train people for a living. So what I need to know is the updates every day, right? So what I've done is I've built an agent that is going to run every day at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's going through all the data websites that I gave. It takes all the updates from the last 7 days. So I specified specifically of how long ago it needs to give it to me. And then it will send me a nicely drafted email of the updates that were just done. So my tools, what did I do? I needed to define today's date because it didn't know it. Then I'm using as well, again, to send an email. And my trigger is it runs every day at that point in time.
I think I'm going to steal this one from you.
Yeah, well, you can. I'm just going to test run it to you to see what the output will be. So now it will start running. I will open up Outlook as well, so you can see it then. So now it will run through, right? It will first identify today's date, which has done successfully. As you can see here, it's the 20th of March. So I said then it also needs to identify which is 7 days ago. So that's the 13th. So now it's going to look through my sources, which is done here. And then it's going to talk to the email tool, draft the email, and send it to my email address. Again, this is about Copilot, right? If you are in another department and you want to be updated about something, you can always do that and adapt it according to your needs.
Very, very simple use case, but very useful in my opinion, because it can apply to basically anything, all the updated information that we might need for our job. So it can apply, yes, virtually to any job and any company. So yeah, great one.
Yeah, my internet, it's really annoying today. It's really going slow.
Oh.
But going on today, Samir, or the last couple of days? Okay, anyway, let me show you the output. So deleted. This was the one from this morning. So every morning at, you see, 8:01, normally it takes like not even 1 minute. It gives me this nicely HTML email. I can click on the links, right? That directs me immediately to the Microsoft Learn pages or the other ones, right? Divided into Copilot Chat, Copilot updates, and then Copilot Studio updates. Now, this is again a retrieval of information, sending it to you. What I also did is I built another agent. That's another example I'm going to give because that's the last one, and then it's time. It's an email drafter about the workshop. So today I often get an email with like, okay, this is my issue. I have a couple of Copilot license, right? I have 50, 100, whatever. And I don't have the adoption that I want. Like, what's your way of working? How do you tackle things? And I thought, you know what? I build an agent for it. I've built documents with my tone of voice. Like I talked for 2-3 hours to Claude to build me my whole tone of voice, how I write, how I explain myself, express myself, right? I've built some documents around how my workshop is built up, right? I got a document for NT-AI writing style, copywriting, and everything like that. So those are all the documents that I give to the agent, right? I gave it again according to the script methodology, right? I gave it everything that I wanted to do. And here I'm going to draft the email message because again, that's the point that we discussed, Prince. I don't want it to send out the emails. I want to see it first before it goes to my sales, to my person, right? And then the trigger is when a new email arrives. So I will showcase that now. Let's hope it works because the whole day it hasn't been working. So I will just send an email from another email address to Vincent at, right, Copilot adoption. Hey Vincent, so we just bought 100 Copilot licenses 3 months ago, and we gave some general training. We sent them through some training YouTube videos. We had Microsoft passing by, but I do see that my adoption is flatlining in the last 2-3 months, around 60-ish%. I want to drive it up to like 90-95%. I came across your profile, and could you explain me a little bit more how you tackle these type of issues, what you have done in the past, etc. Well, so I'm now sending this email, and let's do hope that I will see something popping up here in my drafts in a minute. I can't guarantee that now, as you have seen how it works or how everything goes today. So let's hope the email already comes in, so that's good. Honda Copilot. Okay, so I didn't check the email, but he will figure something out. So now what it's doing, it's going through everything. Maybe I'll show you some activity of the past. This one is from Wednesday that I showed. So what it does when it gets an email, right? That's the trigger. It goes through my knowledge sources. So here, right? How do I work with clients on a Copilot adoption? So it really gets that out of the email, right? The question, the specific question. So it goes through my how I tackle my workshops, right? My Copilot adoption engine offer document. It only looks in these 3, right? Because I specified it in the instructions. Then I said, how do I help it, right? Again, it goes through these documents. Then I asked, right? The customer asked it as well. So another question, and then it went. It already drafted something, but it also went through my sources of NT-AI writing style, sentences editor, and everything else. And then it drafted an email that is then in my draft email inbox. Let's see. Yeah, obviously, it's not working well today.
These are the challenges of live execution.
Ah, there it is. Voila. You see, it just popped up here. So, hey, Tom, you're stuck at 60% because, right? People tried Copilot, walked away. So that's a little bit like examples that I give also on LinkedIn and everything, and how I tackle my type of workshops, right? With a diagnose, demonstrate, and deploying then afterwards with some results that I put in from workshops. And I always put a next step into it. So you see, this is now drafted. I could send it, yes or no. I could change some stuff if I want to, right? So you see, this really saves up some time when I'm replying to or drafting emails. Is it for everybody that the readability of my screen is unclear?
I hope not, because otherwise, yeah, the recording might be
The
similar,
same.
but it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, well, maybe I've got very bad
Is
eyes,
it because
but
you can't read it, or because that's the first time
it
I
just
get
seems
that?
a little flu to me. I mean,
Not
the
really.
text itself
It is. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, it is just a little bit indeed.
Was it on Wednesday as well, Romeo?
For me, it's still readable. I don't know for you guys, if you can confirm.
It's just some parts,
readable.
whenever it's very small, it's getting very difficult to read. But I was just wondering, maybe it was only on my end and I could just rewatch the video, or maybe you can rewatch the ones on Wednesday. It's the Dutch one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I understand Dutch, so I can actually
maybe we
rewatch
need
that
to,
one.
yeah, maybe we need to check there, because that's the first time I got. Okay, I will take it into account. I will check what's what's happening. Okay, good. Thank you. So all right, so you see it got drafted, and now I have everything that I needed. So those are a couple of examples, and that's what. Still got so many more, but I see Romeo still wants to say something as well.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, wait, maybe Romeo, I got a couple.
Sure.
I got like just 2 things that I still want to say.
Go ahead.
Yes. All right, so let me switch back to my iPad, and just like a conclusion type of way, right? Some key takeaways. iPad. Boom. The things that I really wanna again summarize a bit, and the things that I want you to take away from this meeting are a couple of the steps, right? It's I'm gonna put it now in white again, right? Process first. I said it too many times probably, but it's necessary, right? Process first, then technology, right? Don't start with the technology and work your way back. Technology, because that's not really how it should work. Start with the process, then go into technology, right? Second one, use script. Or if you find another framework that works for you, fine, okay? But have a framework that is constantly the same, because then you know as well how to instruct agents, how to that you build that process in your mind as well, right? And 3, again, test, right? Measure and iterate. Test your agents, see what's happening. That's why what I have now with my agent, I will double check what happened in the back, and just remember that we are in that peak of inflated expectations, right, from agents. But if you build structure in the process of building that agents, we will, or hopefully you will not be one of that 40%, right, agents that will fail, or highly likely will fail in 2027, right? So that's from my part. Thank you very much. You can always subscribe, right, to my newsletter, or follow me on LinkedIn for new or other tips and tricks. Voilà.
Thank you very much, Vincent. There are a few questions in the chat.
How do you manage all your agents and interactions while working? Do you mean if you are in your agents, right? You can go then into your activity to start analyze to see which ones are working, and you can also see your evaluation. So that's why it's important, if people are interacting and it's not going well, that they should let us know what's happening, right? If it does right or wrong. But if you are looking to implement agents in your organization, build in that somebody has time or makes time to manage those agents. Because as I said, if you're just going to launch like in the Wild West agents, then it's highly likely that some things will happen that you don't want to. So that's really, build a project manager or just somebody that manages agents from top to bottom. That's an important one. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna share.
The floor is yours, Romeo.
The last few slides. Thank you, Vincent.
And if you want, there is my QR code for some feedback on the session. That's always highly appreciated.
Do you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Great. So thank you, Vincent, again. Now that we've seen a few very useful cases, and also what's possible, with student agents, how can we create those? If you're still wondering, I guess you have many questions, or still processing everything that you've seen now, and if you're still wondering what tasks or processes can you automate with an agent, well, try to describe the process as we've seen in the beginning, break it down into pieces, or you can also simply ask Copilot. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Start a conversation with Copilot, ask him to ask you additional questions that might help you better assess the direction that you want to take, the development or everything that your agent needs to do. And maybe the agent that you're looking for already exists, as you know, there are already many pre-built Microsoft agents that you can find on the Copilot chat, or just making it yourself, as we've seen today. Now, also an important aspect, of course, is the management of the agent. As we've seen, they need to be safe, they need to be governed as well. And because the more agents an organization develops, also the more important it is to know what those agents are going to do, how, and there need to be someone who keeps an eye on those, ensure that they're properly managed, used, and that there are no misuses, let's say, or non-compliant usage within the organization. This can be like agents being used incorrectly or having access to data that they're not supposed to, right, for confidentiality reasons. And for this purpose, Microsoft created Agent 365 that will be launched the 1st of May. Unfortunately, this Agent 365 is a paid service. So that means that if you want to monitor your agents throughout their entire life cycle and truly establish, their identity within the company, and to manage them, to configure them, then that comes at a cost of $15 per user per month. We don't have the prices in euros so far, but they will likely follow up, I think, next month. So I think we are really looking forward to this tool to see how it will help organizations manage and control the agents. Now, on the side, you can see a QR code that will lead you to several interesting videos of the Agent 365 in action. So don't hesitate to check it out. And to sum up, I also want to refer you to our upcoming webinars which will take place on April the 30th, sorry, a Thursday. And the last one will be on the 29th of May. So the next one is actually the same as the first session we've organized in this 5-part series. But of course, we will be presenting a number of new use cases that can really have an impact on the SMEs, on the SME market, of course. And we'll be doing exactly the same end of May, but this time focusing on the free AI assistant, Copilot Chat, again with new use cases. Now, maybe you've already heard, Microsoft announced last week or 2 weeks ago the third wave for Copilot, and Copilot Chat just got more powerful as well. And I'm really looking forward to the next use cases you will prepare for us, Vincent, and see, the new capabilities of Copilot and also of Copilot Chat with all the new functionalities that have been announced. And last but not least, as you know, we also prepare for you the Copilot quick guides, which are step-by-step explanations of how you can apply certain use cases yourself in a very simple way. So don't hesitate to check those out as well. They can be very helpful as well. So I want to thank you again for joining us, for your time. And thank you, Vincent, for the very nice use cases that you showed us today. And of course, if you have any other further questions or need personal guidance, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, to my colleague, Michiel de Rieder, who is absent today, or to myself. With that, I wish you already a very great weekend, sunny, I hope, and I hope to welcome you to our next webinars.
Thank you very much from my end as well.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.